we've tried to look for programs similar to this. There are people trying to do it, but they're really not doing it the way we're doing it, and giving you guys an opportunity to get involved in the music like you are getting involved. So, you know, this was a vision of Dallas's, and you know, he wasn't going to stop until he got it into some of the schools in Atlanta. And we're not going to stop there. We're going to keep on going, just like the name of the program says, Don't Stop the Music. So you guys got to help us keep it going. One of the things I want to say to you is that for the ones that are leaving us, you're singing, you graduated, you're moving on to bigger and better things, stay in touch with us. We want to know where you're going, and we may be able to help you get there. So we want to hear about it. If you're going off to school, we want to hear about it. If you're starting a job, we want to hear about it. If you're not doing anything, we want to hear about it. All right? Either way, we want to hear about it. That's important to us, because that's why he started this program. Was not just to help you while you're in high school, but so to give you something to have a foundation when you leave school too. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Dallas for a little bit and let him say a couple of words.
Just the music I heard coming in here, man. I'm super proud of you guys, to tell you the truth, because a lot of times you can go in and put up money and time and effort into, you know, putting the studio equipment in the schools, and you go back, you see it broke or sitting there with dust on it or not working, or like, which is a shame, you know. So I'm really glad you guys not only using it, but you're using it great. You're using it for what it's for, and you're using it in a magical way. Because I'm hearing music, and I'm going, man, this is all coming out of the program. This is amazing. So it's working just like I thought it would. And the reason I wanted to bring you guys here is because this is where it started from. In this building, I had this building since like 1990. It was my first thing after I did Boys and Men and ABC. I basically took my money and built the studio because I would always have a place to work, and it was set up so that that all these rooms you see around here, I don't know if you've been in them yet, but I'll take you guys around. But these are our production rooms. There's 4 studios here, and this lounge is set up so that you can hear everybody else's stuff while you're sitting here. Because if you're one of the producers, you know, you want to make sure that everybody is staying inspired and stay creative. And so I would take interns and people that came in as interns, like Leslie Brathwaite, who used to run to the Waffle House and everything else here. He ends up being not only an engineer, but you know, he's a producer, and then he does all the Cash Money records, and he does all the, and now so when a guy that's an intern for me comes back and asks me, can he buy my house? That's the best feeling in the world. And so after seeing that happen with interns, and then I took producers like Tim and Bob or Mario Winans, or everybody that ever came out of Atlanta, period, came out of this room. I don't care if it's been 112, I don't care if it's Jagged Edge, I don't care, because luckily, you know, by the grace of God, I did it first. And so I was trying to open the doors for everybody else to do it here. So Monica, Sierra, everybody you could ever name out of Atlanta came out of this room, out of this building in some capacity. And I would just sit with everybody and try to tell them about all the mistakes I went through so that they wouldn't make them. You know, because if I went through by myself, then I went through it for nothing. So I was like, if I went through tax problems, if I went through any things with music royalties, anything else, I would just sit like this and talk to everybody like Shakespeare and Rico Wade and Tricky and all those guys and Dream, and just be like, yo, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. Because I felt like that's the only way we're really going to build a real industry and a real foundation here, is like, watch out for each other. So when I started this, when I started doing music, it was like, I put my first record out at 16. So I was able to pull up at school and hear my record on the radio and go to Jelly Bean skating rink and skate to them, you know? And so it's like, well, my mom told me, she was like, yo, you gotta do something. If you're gonna do that, or you're gonna get out of my house. So I just wanted to stay at the studio for a while. And because my goal was to hear my records. I didn't even want no money. I was like, if I could just make sure my mom was straight, then I was good. Because I was a music nut. I played keyboards, and I just wanted to be like all the other producers I listened to, and wanted to be that artist that bad. And so I was just determined to be that way. So I'm living proof that if you just don't stop thinking about it, if it's in you, you're gonna be it anyway. But it's like, you can't ever put enough time into it. It's a life existence. If you really want to be in the music business, you really want to be a writer or producer, and it's really life existence. You gotta, I don't leave here. I stay here all week long. I got a bedroom in the back. I don't go home until the weekends. Because what am I going home for? Go to sleep? Sleep right here on this couch. We gonna get back up and hit it again. And that's how we've been doing it since we started here. You know, it takes that kind of passion for you to do it and for you to be great at it. So I'm really excited that, you know, when I first started, it was like maybe Cameo and maybe Peebo Bryson, maybe the SOS band was in Atlanta. But other than that, it was no outlets. You couldn't go nowhere and get yourself on at all, zero. So we took Another Bad Creation, went out to Lennox, dressed them, took their pictures down at the Georgia Dome when they were building it. They had the tractors out there, so we put the kids out there and painted up overalls and put them on the thing, took pictures of them, and went and made Aisha. And then Jermaine would do the same thing. We'd go out. We didn't know any better. We thought we were supposed to do everything. So we go dress the artist. Be like, okay, what are they gonna be? Are they gonna be backwards? Are they gonna be inside out? Are they gonna be like this? Are they gonna be like that? And then we make the records to it. You know, because records are about capturing that moment. It's about what just happened to you. You know, and so we just kind of created the industry not knowing better. You know, so by the time we got to TLC, it's like, okay, well, what are they gonna do with them? Well, I guess I'm gonna make them the girl version of BBD. Okay, well, that's good. What kind of records would they make? You know, so when you're thinking of yourself as an artist or as a writer or producer, like you have to target things. You can't just, it's a different story just writing and producing out of the blue and targeting your market, you know? Like when we did Monica, like Brandy was out, so he said, okay, this is the nice little girl from Hollywood. She's saying stuff like, you know, I want to be down. So Monica's like a 14-year-old girl from the hood waving her neck, like she ain't studying you. She's Miss Thing. She's like, get down. That's her attitude. So okay, we're gonna make those records for her. So when you really look at it, you either got to do the opposite of. You can follow what's out there, but always target something. You know, always target some record or something to be like, oh man, and don't be scared to be inspired. If the song sounds good to the radio, go make you want to like it. It's right there. It's only certain ways you can make it. It's right there on the radio. So always be inspired, man. I'm really just psyched that you guys got this far with it, because this means that, you know, you're probably going to end up in some form of career, whether it's engineering, whether it's writing, whether it's, you know, you can take this stuff with you wherever you go. And I'm just glad to see that it got to this point, because starting out with one school and, you know, starting out, I was on the Grammy board, and they're like, man, we're taking music all out of the schools. I'm like, well, that's gonna be a problem. So they said, well, why don't we get a house in the neighborhood and put in the garage, we'll just put music in there, and kids can go there after school and take music classes. So I'm saying, man, the last thing a kid wanna do after school is go to school again. You know what I'm saying? And then you can't apply it to what you're doing at the school. You have no idea. So I looked around and I said, myself, Jermaine, Rico, all of us, by the time we were 20 years old, probably had our first $1 million. So I was looking and saying, well, the trumpet probably wouldn't make you that, even though it's great to take a music class, but the trumpet and the violin and the flute probably have a hard time getting yourself a career with it. You know, so I didn't see why the equipment that we were using to make our stuff on, I would see so many kids on the streets, like going out there hustling, slinging dope, like I'm gonna get this MPC 60, I'm gonna get the Pro Tools, dog, I gotta have the Fruit Loops, I gotta have it. And so then they'll be up in here, Jeezy, everybody else in the same rooms. Like when they were straight trapping, they was in this room in the back trying to make records about it. So I feel like, let's take one component out. What if this was in the school and you didn't have to go out to the streets to get to the equipment? What if I put all the sounds in there that you hear on the radio and give you the opportunity to make your own records like that without going there? And then you could also say, well, dang, my math's gonna apply to this now because I wanna make sure my royalties are straight. My English is gonna apply to this now because I wanna make sure my songwriting is straight. Or my rapping is straight. You know what I'm saying? My social studies is gonna apply, history, I need everything now because I wanna put it into my music, and that's how clever I wanna be with my rhymes, that's how smart I wanna be with my lyrics. So it all had to connect. And so we did 10 schools so far, and you know, I'm going for it to be curriculum based. Because you should be able to get an A in this class and pass. It should count, because this is a real career. This isn't like, what if? This is like, you spend your time doing this. I mean, sometimes you see a person pop up with one song that just changed their whole life. You know, whether it's Soulja Boy, whether it's like, you know, Cash You Seen How They Walk It Out, like Uncle them. Well, so they might not make albums all their life, but they got to that point. And they made records and they made success. And they put some money away. You know what I'm saying? So I really want to encourage you guys that if you're in the program, you know, stay in it. And if you're moving on from that point, stay in touch with us, like when I said, because this is all to say, okay, who's good? Who's going to be really good? Because those people, we're going to put to work. We'll put this program in place, so it's like publishing companies and companies like that, they wait to see your records come out, right? And then they look at your record and say, okay, we want to sign that person because that song is big. Well, of course, everybody wants to at that point. My gift has always been like, I'm going to find the diamonds in the rough, and because I know them, because I was there, you know what I'm saying? And I know that person, so I'm going to give them the opportunities and then clean the diamond up and then go ahead and put them to work. So that's all I did with Tim and Bob. They did the Dawn song and all the Boys and Men records and all that stuff too. Mario Winans, who's done tons of records for Puffy, he was still one of my writers and producers. You know, so it's like, that's the goal here, is to get you guys really working. So, you know, if there's any questions y'all got about songs or music or business or whatever, I'm gonna open it up so y'all can ask me questions, and then I'll take you around and show you the studio. All right? Cool.
All right, thanks, Dallas.
All right.